Grass doesn't get much respect. People mow it down, yank it up, and then there are the dogs. But Elizabeth Kellogg, a botanist at the University of Missouri, says grass is anything but nature's doormat. In fact, we wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for humble blades of grass.
Well, grasses are the basis of human civilization.
Grasses were here millions of years before us. They were able to grow in dry environments and survive wildfires that killed other plants. They fed animals that early humans hunted.
And these days, they feed us. Grasses give us cereal, popcorn, Twinkies, beer, grits, bread, and much more. Kellogg says most people don't realize grasses are way more important than what grows in Americans' front yards.
And they don't think about grasses as being breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But if you actually just take pictures of a rice plant and a corn plant and a wheat plant and just line them all up, they look awfully similar to each other, and then you compare them to the grass in your front lawn.
You'll see there's no escaping grass. And there's a reason it's such a durable source of food. Take a typical plant and chop off the top. It'll stop growing. Without the leaves, it's lost its engine of growth. But when you cut a blade of grass in half, it doesn't care. It just keeps growing. That's because the growth comes from the bottom, which means grass is perfectly fine sacrificing its leaves. This adaptation allowed it to survive hungry insects and grazing animals. These days, people graze grass too. They do it with machines. And while a lawn might look defenseless, it has its own way of putting up a fight. Kellogg says if you look closely at a blade of grass, you'll see that it's essentially weaponized. Grass roots extract silica from the soil, carry it up to the leaves, and create what are essentially tiny shards of glass. This discourages animals other than livestock and insects from eating it. And these silica shards even draw blood if you're not careful.
So you've probably had the experience of having a grass cut, which is, basically being cut by effectively glass-like material.
But grasses do far more good than harm. Their seeds feed us and our livestock. In coastal areas, they protect against flooding. They soak up ground pollution, and they're especially good at pulling carbon out of the air and storing it underground. In all those years grasses were stabilizing the climate and helping civilization to thrive, Kellogg says they were getting something out of it too.
It has been argued that the grasses have co-opted the humans. Corn, for instance, only persists because humans grow it and plant it. It would not grow in the wild. So you could argue it's the corn plant has gotten hold of the people, trained the people to propagate it, so it doesn't have to do it itself.
Long before humans ruled, grasses triumphed as one of the most important plants on the planet. They're not done. After millions of years supporting life, they now have new promise as a source of clean biofuel, which means the importance of grass will continue to grow.